Alice Cooper is quoted in a 2008 Esquire interview as saying, "When we did School's Out, I knew we had just done the national anthem. I've become the Francis Scott Key of the last day of school." This was no idle comment. School's Out has been the anthem of summer vacation for kids everywhere since it was released in 1972. I remember clearly hearing the song played on the bus every year at the start of summer because school was out. As you've guessed it, this week we're going behind the bass of the Alice Cooper classic, School's Out. The song School's Out was predicted to be a hit by the band, so as with many records, the album had the same name. Just to name a few of these albums, we've got Love Gun, Lick It Up, Metal Health, The Game, A Kind of Magic, Highway to Hell, Back in Black, Cowboys from Hell, Master of Puppets, and Peace Sells. All of those have the same name as their album. The song hit number 1 in the UK. In January of 2022, it achieved a silver status with BPI, which is selling 200,000 units for a single, just 50 years after its initial release. The song has been covered by many artists like Guar and Crocus, and even Alice himself on the album Alice Does Alice, the solo effort by Alice Cooper to cover the original Alice Cooper Band songs. In fact, the 2010 version was used on one of the Guitar Hero games. You can find the isolated bass track online pretty easily because of this. Though it is worth noting, the bass line differs from the original a little bit. Aside from being in Guitar Hero on 2 separate occasions, the song also appeared in the 1979 movie Rock and Roll High School, in The Simpsons, Scream, The Muppets, and even a Staples commercial. Another cool fact about the song is that Alice Cooper opened for President Obama with this song at his son's graduation from Arizona State University in 2009. Since even before I saw Ace open for Alice Cooper, I've wanted to do Alice. I previously did House of Fire, and I really wanted to do Bed of Nails from Trash, since it's my favorite song, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Since then, I've had many people ask for me to do Alice Cooper in various ways. I've just had to find the right time to fit some in. And I figured, since I've just graduated from college, school's out for me forever. The bassist, Dennis Dunaway, is a vital part to the sound of early Alice Cooper songs. His parts are unique and interesting. Just take a look at I'm 18. The parts are more than just eighth notes on the root note, which is really interesting to listen to. The main riff is blues-inspired, as is the whole song. The swung or shuffled eighth notes and the pentatonic patterns are characteristic of the blues genre. Alice had joked that the song is based on a Miles Davis tune. Even though it's just a joke, it highlights the influence of the song. The style of the main riff is very important to make the song sound right. Pay attention to the short staccato notes, the swung or shuffled eighth notes, and the syncopation, as well as the slide at the end of the line. Bassists covering the song often misplay the first note of the verse riff as an octave higher than it really is, being 7 on the A every time it comes up. It starts out as that, but moves to an open E. Subtle simplifications like this, or leaving out the slides or staccato, can make the song sound karaoke-y. A key component of the song is rhythm, so when it changes, it really grabs the attention of the listener. This is evident with the abrupt straight pattern in the pre-chorus leading into the chorus, and the held grace notes leading into the bridge. The chorus also has a key change to create interest, but it's less obvious than those often used at the end of songs to change the key of the chorus from one to another to add energy, like that in Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. And I know I talked about paying attention to the details, but if there was one part to slack on, it'd be the bridge. It's very unlikely that someone would notice a deviation from the studio track as long as you got the pitches and the essence of the rhythm in that section down, since it's played more freely and less of a set pattern there. So as we get to the solo, the song's back in the key of E minor. In my opinion, this is the hardest part of the song. At the end of each bar, there's a string crossing where you either use the same finger or you have to use your pinky to avoid that, which can be hard for a lot of people. The other hardest part of the song is a slide on your first finger from fret 7 to 5, which is real easy to stumble over. It occurs at the end of the solo, and it's similar to the one at the end of the intro. My favorite part of the whole song is the slide down to when the kids' voices come in. The bass is a variation of the bridge, but it's down an octave. I just love how full this part of the song sounds, and it has a fun fill to the last chorus of the song. As far as positioning goes, it's generally pretty easy to find out, with just one or two educated guesses based on the context. In this first clip, Dennis plays the chords in the beginning, the main riff at 5 and 7 and slides down, the pre-chorus at fret 3, a slide from 3 to 5 and 6, the chorus up by fret 10 using a pick, No More Pencils is at fret 12, solo positioning uses frets 7 and 9. And this next clip, the intro is very visible, uses a Fender bass, looks like a PJ that is picked, although you can tell it's mimed on live TV. At 110, it looks like 5 and 7 and slides back to 3 before the bridge, which is at 10 and 12. This third clip, you can see at 106, he uses a jazz bass. This fourth clip, Dennis Dunaway is on the bass. Bar 39, 8 is on the A. It makes bars 37 and 38. Probably 10 with a hammer onto 12 on A. At 234, it shows the positioning and end of the chorus at 2-3. In this last clip, it's not very clear, but his hand is at the 10 and 12, and then moves to 8 on the A at the end of the first chorus. Of course, I have these linked down below for you, as well as in the description of the original cover. Sometimes it can be hard to find out what kind of bass was used on the original recording, but this time, we've got the inside scoop. In this video, Dennis plays the main riff to the song, talks about using Rotosound strings
45 to 105 standard,
and shows off his flashy PJ bass that he used on the original recording.
This is the $1 billion bass. This is my original bass.
As for the tone, if you want to sound exactly like Dennis, you downpick throughout the whole song, just like the Ramones. You can see that in all his live performances, but because it's pretty easy to lose time doing triplets just downpicking, that's why I chose to alternate going down and up throughout the whole thing. For my bass tone settings, I use the neck and bridge pickups, no tone knob, and new strings. For effects, I used my compressor with release 3, attack 3, ratio 4, input 2, output 2. You can see those on screen. And Sans Amp, again on screen, I have with the level 3, a blend 1, treble 1, bass 1, drive 9, presence 11. I used my jazz bass since Dennis used a jazz bass, but realistically, a good tone for the song is pretty easy to come by. As long as you don't go too crazy on the mids and don't have a real harsh attack, then you'll be right in the sweet spot. You still want to be heard in the mix though, so if you play with your fingers instead of a pick, what you might want to do is actually turn that tone knob up. That way you can get some of the attack you're losing by playing with your fingers instead of a pick. As a reminder, I've linked the gear that I use below this video, below my covers, below the bass onlys. That way it's easy for you to find the exact gear that I use. Remember to support the channel by ordering Samboat merch and signing up for Patreon. Rock on, and I'll see you next time.